Guys are having such a glorious night, day, wherever you are. If not, do understand and get that your day, your life is going to get better once your perception gets better. I wanted to do a live real quick and say, and like, you're going to have to slow down, okay? I'm not only talking to you guys, I'm talking to myself as well. You know, the reason why you tend to do everything the way you do it is because most likely you was criticized when you was a kid. And because you was criticized as a child, you feel like you have to do everything. And if you don't do everything, then things are not going to get done the way they need to. Someone had asked me the other day about if they are going through fatigue or mental, something about mental, right? And I'm not a doctor or anything like that. And I just do these videos speaking from experiences. If you feel so tired and drained, it is because you are violating your body. Okay, you are in violation of the laws of this here universe. Maybe you feel like you have to do everything all at once. And I think a lot of this, it comes from, we live in a society where everything is based upon control, right? I have to control this, I have to control that. And it's not really talked about surrender, right? In many households, we felt like, or we even grew up seeing that everything had to be done on time, right? Or maybe you would sweep the rug like 20 times. I know when I was a kid, and I'm so grateful for my mother installing cleanliness in me, okay, to like make sure my apartment clean and everything like that. That was like something that was really, really big. And but at times you can be doing too much, okay? And the reason you are doing too much is because you feel like you still stuck in the past. You still stuck with it has to all be done, right? You have this persona. I mean, not this persona, but this this thing going on in your mind where as though you feel like if I sit down or if I take a break, then that means I'm lazy. Or if I take a break, that means that I won't be able to achieve the things that I desire to achieve. Or even on my YouTube journey or any journey when it comes to social media, right? So I'm on 3 different platforms and upload and constantly. Hey Tracy, peace here, baby, peace here, peace here. Upload and constantly every day, right? Doing about 5 to 23 videos per day. Okay. At times I reach this point where as though my body is saying you need to slow down, right? Like today, prime example. So I had said normally I do hauls, Dollar Tree hauls on the weekends as well. Like it's been a while since I just took a day off from social media. And when I say a day off, I'm talking about not uploading one single video. And even today, I said, I'm gonna take a day off, right? I'm not gonna do the Dollar Tree horse, and then I find myself doing short form videos. I had for my goals, like do 5 short form videos, and then I did over 5 short form videos, and we all always get these synchronicities, right? Like sometimes I'm in a battle with myself, whereas though it's like, Dina, you need to surrender. And then there's another part of me, whereas though it's like, Dina, you need to upload all these videos, right? And I'm still finding my way. So when I tell you guys, like, I don't have it all figured out, like I'm still learning, and you will never reach the mountaintop, right? I mean, I always say, see you guys at the top, but when I say you'll never reach the mountain, you'll always be learning in life because life is a teacher. You're supposed to be learning. And if you listen to life, life will teach you many things, okay? Certain things that don't work. Um yeah, thank you, Tracy. Thank you. Um and today was one of the things that I had came across. I had came across this video, right? And I had showed you guys earlier when I did a live. I was on live for 2 hours, okay, and I said I was taking a break, but I got to download to do a live. I had came across this video, and it's like a book, but it's like a audio. And on in the book, it's like a the author is speaking, or someone is speaking about the book, and they telling, the narrator is telling you it's like the art or the abundance or something, like money will chase you. And it talks about how you need to surrender, right? Like how you shouldn't be happy once you reach a goal. Like even 10,000, when I say, oh my goodness, I'm gonna be at 10,000, right? Or when I get to 20,000, is always, and I am a fan of goals and stuff like that, but you have to enjoy the process. Not only, like, don't be happy only when you hit those goals, right? Or don't feel like, well, I have to wait for happiness, like I can't enjoy the moment. And sometimes it's something weird. So I go through this. I'm being very transparent right now, okay, and vulnerable. Sometimes I go through this where, as though, and I talk about happiness and stuff like that. Happiness is a choice. But I do see sometimes in my life where, as though, I'm like, all right, you know, this is going to make me so happy. Happiness just from you waking up in the morning, right? The gratitude. And that book that I was telling you guys about, that I was listening to earlier, one of the things it said in a book, it said gratitude, right? Small forms of gratitude. If you are paying attention to little things, little gratitude, like for instance, you walking down the street, you see a stranger smile at you, right? That's a form, it's like the little things that oftentimes that we take for granted. So to the person that's out there that feel like you have to get everything done, because if you don't get it all done, then your life is not going to be a certain way. And what really made me do this video is I had took a quiz the other day from Shay Love Diva. And one of the things that she talked about was being in your feminine energy, right? And she says, if you are looking to attract a masculine man, you must be in your feminine energy. And when I took this quiz, she said that my results, it was like that I'm a ruby. And one of the things she said, being a ruby, that means that you have leadership qualities, but it also means that you want to do everything, right? You want to do everything. And if you are the type of female that feel like I need to do everything, and you like, I gotta be the one that's, like the leader and stuff like that, then it'll be hard for you to attract a masculine man, because masculine energy, they lead, okay? They lead. And so, that's what really got me to thinking. And as I took this quiz, right, it was some things that she said. She was like, if you're a ruby, then that means that most likely you got criticized when you was a kid, and now you have this part of you where, so you like, I need to get everything done, right? Like I need to do everything, because you are operating from the part of you when you was a child and you would be criticized. And so, after I took that quiz, I've been like, especially today, I was thinking about that quiz, and then it's so crazy because when I turned on the television, it was this book that talked about abundance that I was telling you guys a few minutes ago. And in that book, it was talking about surrender, right? And oftentimes we may say, oh my goodness, God isn't speaking to me. If God only speak to me. Well, the truth of the matter is God is speaking. Maybe you just not listening, because the synchronicities that you get is a reason why you getting them. Whether it's telling you to slow down, whether it's telling you to go another way, whether it's telling you your way isn't working, whether it's telling you to do something that you may have never done before, right? Stepping into the unknown. Like for instance, today I had took my daughter to one of her friends' birthday parties, and I seen it, and it's really about you being aware. Because I always say with awareness, you can change anything that shows up in your life. And I seen, I didn't really want to do it because I was like, oh my goodness, when I go to the party, I really don't want to talk to too many people and stuff like that. And at first I was, sometimes you tend to make excuses, right? Sometimes you tend to make excuses. And I got a download earlier that said, listen, if your children father call you about the party, just take the kids to the party. Right now, the old version of me would have been like, no, they wasn't listening and all this other stuff. But me taking to them to the party, my children to the party, is really getting out of my comfort zone, right? And so, all these ideas was going on in my mind about my children. Oh, when they come home, because they was at their father's house. When they come home, they need to change. They need to do this. They need to, it was so much. And sometimes you tend to overwhelm yourself. And so when we was walking to and in my head, I'm saying, you know what? We just going. Let me do the things that I need to do. So I'm not looking to get myself upset. Because sometimes you may do this. You may create things to get yourself upset because you have this chatter going on in your mind that you want to be pissed. Like you look for stuff to get upset. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to get in the shower. I'm going to be ready. So when my children come, we just go. And we went to the party and we had an amazing time. And when I first got there, see, it's not about you judging yourself. It's for you to observe and see, feel those. You can't heal it if you're not willing to feel it. All right. So when I got there, I felt, a little kind of, a little shy. Okay. When I got there to the party, we was late. But nonetheless, I still like at first I was sitting, and then later on I was like, no, come on, get up. Talking to myself, come on, girl, get up. They had some egg rolls and stuff like that. I said, you know what, let me get some of these egg rolls. Now the old me would have been like, and I heard the chatter. I heard the chatter play out. You don't deserve this. You don't deserve this food. The timid, shy part. You don't deserve this food. The old programming. You don't deserve this food. You don't deserve these drinks. And I remember one time, I'm not gonna lie, one time I was sitting on a bench and I just was like sedated with gratitude. And as I'm sitting on a bench, it was this part like evidently, and that's why I made the video. Evidently, you deserve it. If you didn't deserve it, they wouldn't have invited you. You deserve this and much more. And I got teary-eyed. Honey, I didn't want nobody. I was hoping like, oh my goodness, I hope nobody comes over here. Okay? Do not come over here. Okay? I was teary-eyed and stuff, tears and stuff, And then afterwards, right? And this is all part of the process. You have to see exactly what it is that you have going on within yourself. Because if you're not willing to recognize it, it's not for you to sweep the feelings up under the rug and say, you know what, I'm not going to deal with this. No, you got to deal with it in order for you to heal it. If you don't want to deal with it, guess what? It gets bigger. And what you're pretty much saying to the universe, that this thing is bigger than me. It's not bigger than you. It is not bigger than you. Do you know who you are? You are a creator. A creator. You are a God. Now, I know some of you guys, you get a little touchy and a little fancy when I say that. But the truth of the matter is you are a God. You create your reality. And I'm not saying you are God over the cosmos and stuff, but you create your reality. You and God are one. God work through you, but you and God is one. When you believe in yourself, you believe in God. Okay? Because you and God are one. God is everything and everything. And so after I went and got the egg rolls and stuff, I was like, you know what? I started talking to the people. And I went up to the ladies. So it was two people party, two little girls party. My youngest daughter, she got invited to the little girl who is about the same age as her. But my youngest daughter, she always be with like the older girls, right? It's this older girl. I absolutely love this little girl. She's like 12 years old, but I absolutely love her. When my daughter goes to the park, the first person she see is this little girl, and I absolutely love it. The little girl is so kind, so sweet, really, really nice. And her mother is really, really cute. Not in that way, okay, honey. I'm not gay. Okay, I just gotta put that out there. It's so funny. Somebody said I'm gay, honey. Honey, I ain't gay. Okay, honey, you gotta do what works for you. Okay, you have to do what works for you. If that's what works for you, float your boat, honey. You gotta do it. Okay, but um, so I got the spring rolls and stuff like that, and I noticed my children, they was like, a little pool bag, right? Even though they got invited. And one of the things that I noticed within myself, when I get around people, I feel people out, right? Like they energy and stuff like that. My intuition is like this, is very, very on point. And the reason being is because I listen to my intuition. Okay. I listen to my intuition. I'm always listening to it. And so when I go around people, I pretty much like feel the environment, so to speak, right? And nonetheless, like we had an amazing time, a really, really good time. And the reason I share every aspect of my life, most of my life, with you guys is so you could get out of your comfort zone. Like I'm gonna be the person that's gonna let you know I don't have it all figured out. I'm still learning. I'm still studying. I'm gonna let you guys know that you don't have to stay there. And some of you guys, you think that it doesn't make you. Let me say this: you are so much stronger than you think by you showing up, by you attempting to do the work on yourself, by you being vulnerable, okay, by you saying, you know what, I don't have it all figured out, that makes you strong. Being strong it does not mean, that you have to be a tough guy or whatever it is like that. Because oftentimes the people who make the loudest noise, those oftentimes are the people that's the most insecure that I noticed. Okay. So one of the things that you have to understand is that it is okay to not have it all figured out. It is okay to surrender. It is okay to take a break. It is okay to get to a point where so you're like, you know what? I don't have all the answers, and let me be still so I can receive. Look at your life and any part of your life, wherever you are. I am here to tell you there are amazing things that's going on in your life. You may not see it right now, but if you start paying attention, I remember when I got paid from YouTube. And my thing is buying household supplies, right? Whether it's paper towels, big things of tissue and stuff like that, cleaning supplies. Like I absolutely love buying cleaning supplies. And when I remember I had purchased like this real big roll of Bounty, right? And it was like the happiest, something so small, right? Somebody else could be like Bounty, right? But I was so, so grateful over Bounty, over having paper towel and having tissue and soap in my apartment, things like that, things that we oftentimes take for granted. And one of the things that I start looking at, because it would be times where so I'm like, oh my goodness, right? Like I gotta do this with my YouTube check. But one of the things that I start looking at, like, damn, Dina, like at least you get paid. At least you get paid from YouTube. At least you get paid from doing the thing that you love. If it's just $100, at least you get paid from doing the thing that you love. And one of the things that I do when I get on the trains, when I'm going to the different Dollar Tree wars, one of the things that I do, I look at the people, so many people that's going to a job that they absolutely hate. And that brings me into gratitude real quick. Because to imagine that you wake up and you get to do the thing that you absolutely love, that so many people have settled with life. So many people felt like, that they didn't have what it takes, or they doing things based upon because that's what their parents wanted them to do, as opposed to what God told them to do. And they feel stuck. They feel trapped in a job. But that's only because they tell themselves that. That's only because they have accepted their settlement from life. And as long as you accept the settlement, guess what? You are going to continuously live a life that's unfulfilling because you are living somebody else's dreams. It's not even yours. You are living and those dreams you are living became a nightmare. And many times you guys are doing things that you seen your family members do, and then you say generational curses. It's not generational curses, it's habits. It's habits. It's habits that you had seen your parents do, and you took on those habits. It's the paradigm. Multitude of habits. Each and every day you get up and do the same exact thing, hoping and praying and looking for something new to occur. And I am here to tell you, it's not going to happen. You have to be able to surrender. You have to be able to say, you know what? I don't know, but I do know this is not working. And be willing to make the change. Even if it's something so small, something so little. It could be walk around a block. It can be something that seems so small to others, but it means something to you. And enjoy every aspect of your life. Enjoy it. The bad part, the good parts, enjoy every part. Because every part of your life, it has meaning. And it makes you the person that you currently are today. That shadow part, the part of you that you don't want other people to see, maybe you get angry. Don't suppress the anger. Because when you suppress the anger, you make things even worse. You make it even worse when you suppress the anger. You have to know how to handle your emotions and not allow your emotions to handle you. And you learn based upon you observing, not by you judging and saying, oh my goodness, I shouldn't be angry. No, it's a reason why you feel like you should be angry. Because if it wasn't, you would not be angry. And I got that from The Mystic Path of Cosmic Power by Vernon Howard. In that book, he talks about, it's a guy who says that, he said, I listen to your classes, I come to your class and stuff like that, but I still feel angry. And Vernon Howard said, you criticize yourself for being angry. Don't criticize yourself for being angry. And you feel like you shouldn't be angry, so you suppress it. Suppression creates depression. When you don't want to feel those emotions, it creates depression. That's why so many people that feels depressed. And all of that, anxiety, depression, I'm no doctor, okay? No doctor. And I'm not giving out medical advice or anything like that. But suppression, I'm just talking about my experience. Suppression, depression, all of those things, anxiety is all because of fear. Fear that's bottled up. I remember when I first started doing these videos, and for me to be vulnerable and speak about whatever it was that I was growing through, right? It was a form of me releasing. And there's so many people that's going through the same exact thing, but they won't talk about it because of fear of other people's perception of them. But I got to a point where I said, I don't give a damn. Okay. I don't give a damn. I was living in hell for so long, and hell is not actually a destination, it's a frequency. I was living in hell for so long. I don't give a damn. Right. And the more that I became vulnerable, the more I shared my experience, even though people at first, they wouldn't say too much in the comments because, people don't want other people to know what they're going through and growing through. But people start watching the videos. So much so that the dudes that I grew up with, right, that I would say the dope boys, right, they would watch the videos. They would come on my live and they would watch the videos. And I knew them, right? And I remember they would come and then they would be on there, send me messages like, oh my goodness, because, it was probably the first time that they heard especially somebody that grew up with them, you know. And I remember one guy in particular, he would send me messages on Facebook Messenger, and it was another guy that would call me and ask me for advice and stuff. And they would watch the videos and then they'd leave. They wouldn't come back. And I would feel like, oh my goodness, where are they? Right. But what I understand later on was this: when you talk about truth, right? You're not so speaking to the person, you're speaking to their soul. And there's a part of them that really, really wants to change. They really, really want to change, but they still around that environment. And so when they get off the live, right, they go back and do the same exact thing that they was doing. It's comfortable to them. They in a comfort zone. It's scary. It can be scary at times to go into the unknown, okay? To do something that you never done before. When I first started doing YouTube, like Dollar Tree hauls, and I share this with you guys because I really want you guys to understand this and get this so you can start taking a leap out on faith. 1 second. When I first started doing YouTube, like going to the Dollar Trees, right? Because what I noticed was, personal development, yeah, is cool, but my audience, I would get really, really, my inner child would come out when I would go to the Dollar Tree. And I guess because of the newness, right? Like the new items and stuff like that. And it's so funny because, I would say, like, when my sister is the first person that said, go to Dollar Tree. I was like, I don't do Dollar Tree. I would be going to other, so I don't do Dollar Tree. And then later on, I started going to Dollar Tree. And when I first started doing the Dollar Tree hauls, when if you take a look at my older Dollar Tree hauls, I was nervous. I wasn't speaking the way I speak today but that came through me showing up and listening to the personal development and keep on showing up and believing in myself so much. Now when I go to Dollar Tree, like, it's customers that comes up to me if I'm in another aisle and they say, I heard somebody, sound like they are a YouTube. They'll say, I heard somebody that sound like they on social media, right? And they'll come up to me. I have received subscribers from doing Dollar Tree hauls, right? Me in the middle of a video, and they'll come and they'll say, oh, like, what's your name and stuff like that. And all are polite, kind, loving, because that's the energy that I put out. You get what you put out. But when I first started, I was not like that. When I first started, but from me studying, and I tell you guys these things that I tend to do each and every day so you can do them. Because remember, you have habits. You have habits. Jared, I'm proud of you. I am so, so proud of you. Keep on going. Keep on going, and I wanted to tell you some of the things that's going to come up, because when you see it and having a knowledge of it, like, I want you to understand this. There's going to be things that's going to come up, right? Some adversity, some challenges. But when those things come up, I don't know what your faith is or anything like that. But I want you to know that God got you. That God isn't going to leave you or forsake you. You need to believe that. You need to know that. Okay? And at first, maybe I don't know. But I want you to understand that you got this. As long as you show up for yourself, you are allowing God to show out for you. You know how many times things occurred in my life, whether it was going for court or whatever, and each and every time I won. Each and every time. Each and every time I won. Because I have this presence within me that I know God got me. I know God got me. And so you have to understand, no matter what it is, it can seem like something is so big. It can seem like you can't handle it, right? It may seem that way. But we all heard this time and time again that with God, all things are possible. All things. You know, last year I had did a water fast for 7 days, right? And I remember me doing that water fast, it restored my faith. It restored my faith because I remember, I growing up, I always, you know, would hear about God, right? And sometimes we get our not sometimes we get our beliefs from or God, our concept of God from our family, right? And I remember when I was a kid, I always thought God was outside me. You get on your knees and you pray and stuff like I went to a Catholic school. And so I remember it never was talked about like God is in you. I never heard nobody say that. And I remember when I going through my personal development journey and I kept hearing it. And I remember one day I said to my mother, I said, God is in you, right? And she was like, of course. But I never heard nobody ever say God was in you when I was a kid. So here I am thinking all along, God is outside you. God is going to save you from whatever it is that and this is the purpose of studying. Thinking that God is going to save you, but God is not going to violate universal laws. So if you don't believe that God got you, or if you don't believe in yourself, guess what? You're not going to show up. You're just not going to do it because you don't believe that God is bigger than any materialized thing. You don't believe it. So if you don't believe it, of course, you're going to keep on taking L's. Of course, you're going to allow people to talk to you crazy. And meanwhile, God is saying, you need to say something. But you operating from ego. You operating from the force self. You operating from, if I say something, then these people, they may not want to be my friend or they may not want to be bothered. And that's why you got to get to know yourself, because who gives a damn if they don't want to be bothered? If they don't want to be bothered by you voicing your opinion or by you being your authentic self, is that really the type of person or people that you want to be around? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And the funny thing is, when you start being your authentic self, what tends to happen is other people that's their authentic self will get aligned with you. People that love themselves, they will become your friend. Because they love themselves, because you love yourself. Like attracts like. But if you're a person that is fake and you want real friends, honey, that will never happen. That will never happen. You have to be truthful to yourself. And so when I did my water fast, it was a very, very emotional like water fast. Oh my goodness. I was off of social media for a week. Okay. I did a water fast. And when I came back, it was, I needed it. And I remember when I did my water fast, I remember I was in the bathroom and I don't know. I just kept on hearing me and my sister when we was children, and we would watch like the music awards and how everybody, like the artists, they would come on the stage and they would always be like, first we want to thank God. And I don't know why I went back there, to that memory. And I remember I got so emotional because sometimes it's like we forget, we like you forget that God was always in your corner. You forget that God is always there. But you have to allow God to come in, right? Like a lot of you guys say, well, God ain't answering my prayers. You're not listening. You just not listening. God is, God will answer the prayer, but you're not listening. You see certain things in your life is going a certain way, but you refuse to do something different. Because you still have this playing in your mind that you lazy. So sometimes you want to overwork. You want to overwork yourself because you don't spend no time. Like last week with me and my children, and I was like, I just got this download. I'm on the train, me and my children. I just got this download. I'm like, oh, I'm going to Dollar Tree. I did one Dollar Tree. I'm gonna go to another one. And I got this download. Go to Edgewater. Go to Edgewater. It shouldn't be like you have to make an appointment to enjoy the small things in life. You shouldn't feel like I have to make an appointment in order for me to enjoy these small things in life. And so when I went to Edgewater, me and my children, like we had an amazing time. Really, really good. We had such an amazing time. And bringing my children, one of the things that I absolutely love is having my children around new things, like luxury things, letting them always know that they can have whatever it is that they desire, letting them know how powerful they are, and taking them different places so they can try different things. So whenever I'm in Dollar Tree, I'm always like, majority of the time, I'm picking things up so they can try certain things. Because I want them to have an experience where is not based upon scarcity or lack, but based upon abundance, based upon I want to try different things. And that brings like delight. Like even at times I'm like a few days ago, I was like, you know what? Because I told them, I said, we gonna go to this spot in New York. They have like burgers and stuff, right? And when I get paid from YouTube, that's one of the things that I absolutely love, taking my children to different places. And so I said, we gonna go to New York and we gonna try this burger place. And I've told them, I was like, we ain't doing that because they, but then later on today, I said, we gonna try this burger spot in New York. It brings me delight, to be able to take them places, to different places, different restaurants and stuff like that. Like I love that. I absolutely love them to see the different things what life have to offer. You don't have to stay in your comfort zone. Go do something different. So what if you were afraid? So what if you were a little scared? So what if you feel you don't know nobody there? Get to know people. Get out of your comfort zone. And so it brings me delight, like to be able to do things with my children. I absolutely love that. And I did the same exact thing with my oldest children. And so I'm here to tell you, any part of your life, anything that you are going through, I want you to understand you don't have to stay there. I also want you to understand and take some time out. Be still. Be by yourself sometimes. Listen to your intuition. Because the intuition is always guiding you, whether you male or female, okay? Males have intuition too. And listen to it. If it's telling you to do certain things, you need to listen to it because there's a reason why. And I know you've been conditioned not to listen to it. as a kid. But you're an adult now. You need to start listening to it and paying attention to it. So, with that being said, I love you guys. Keep on rocking out, believing in yourselves, keep going, keep growing. Until next time. Peace.